Right, quite. Hello!
Why?
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, bloody hell, we've seen this mask previously. True, but they left it on the floor. Therefore, it's fair game. But fine, in order to do these reviews, I shall reveal my true face to all the interwebs. Ha ha! You did not see that coming. Nor did you see the strange change of accents from a Wolverine who's clearly British to a Batman who's clearly confusedly European.
Very much so.
But I have comical books to review.
And more bad puns to make.
Probably. This is F3G2, or F3G2, as some people call it.
That sounds like the death rattle of a frog.
Could be. I don't think anybody really calls it F3G2. But
No.
now I have to change all my passwords on my social media. Anyway, let us review some comical books. The Amazing Spider-Man by Slott, Bufani, and Gracia.
No more.
It really is international, this company. This is number 7, because naturally it's Marvel, so a book that came out, that started 2 months ago, is at slightly over half a year worth of comic books.
Well, they kill him after 8, so sure, why not?
Why not? Yeah, it's, this way it looks like it was a good run. Cloak and Dagger are still evil, reversed by Mr. Negative. Spidey's clever. Mr. Negative is even more so. Spidey has to mess with things to get the job done.
And this is Peter, right?
Yeah. It's good. It's Dan Slott doing what he does best, which is his he just does it. He just goes. It's kind of a grand, sweeping story.
The slotness.
What Slott has been really good at is that he's got his broader arcs and his stories within that fit into that. So it's been good, and of course Peter's living high right now, so naturally it's all going to come down to a fall is. Peter's got his Spidey villains, he's got his Peter Parker villains, which is not usually a thing he has, but now on this level he's got Peter Parker villains. Also some interesting progress with Harry Osborn. That may lead to badness because let's face it, I'm fairly certain that his little evil X is only being nice to him as a means to, she's running Alchemax, he's helping run Parker Industries, she's just trying to, use him, I'm fairly certain. Spider-Man number 1, Bendis, Pichelli, Ponzer. Alright, it's Miles Morales in the main Marvel universe. Parents aren't dead, Gonki's here with them, and taking on Blackheart, son of Mephisto, star of such movies as Ghost Rider, and nothing because he did Ghost Rider. But also, you've got you got Bendis and Pichelli on Miles Morales. So, what's not to love? Interestingly enough, they do. It's hard to. He looks older in this than he does in all of the other.
The Ultimate
Marvel.
Verse?
No, in all they aged him in the Ultimate Verse. They did like a little drop and they came back a bit. So that was fine. And this seems to be picking up. But he seems to, in the other one, they seem to draw him as almost like he looks 11, and in this he looks more like 14. So. That threw me for a second, but then you got to remember, you go, well, you know what? This is his original crew here, drawing and writing him. So this must be the standard of what he's supposed to look like.
That takes
and everybody
precedence.
everybody else is just babyfied him. It ends with Spider-Man facing Spider-Man, and what did you do? What did you do? So there will be consequences. Spidey is good. I think I'm going to drop it though, because I can only look forward. Can't look back at these stories.
Those are the short ones.
No, those are the ones that. I mean, they're good, and the art, of course, it's it's Nick Bradshaw. It's freaking gorgeous, but it's like watching the love child of McGinnis and Arthur Adams. But at the same time, I read all the real old Spidey stories, and these just kind of seem like not quite bridging the gap, but not quite filling in, but stuff that happened that we didn't see in the comic, but also not quite reinventing it. So,
just somewhere in limbo.
It just kind of fills that niche for this. I think is great for people who
aren't as old as you.
Yeah, people who weren't there. And again, I can't get. He's worried about his Aunt May, and but Aunt May in this looks 42 and savvy and capable. She's no longer the frail aunt, so that doesn't work. How am I going to take care of my blah 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 blah. A-Force #2 is great. This is by Kelly Thompson with G. Willow Wilson, and I love to say G. Willow Wilson. Art by Jorge Molina. Color artist Laura Martin. Hey, Laura Martin's one of my favorite people that I actually met her several times, and she's like an actual at this point I can call her a Facebook friend and not a Facebook acquaintance. And she's the one who still holds that story of my ex-wife back when I owned a comic store. The first comic creator whose name and work my ex was able to recognize was Laura Martin at the time, Laura Dupuis. There's been, marriage in between. But she was, and I was reading, I had a copy of Planetary at home, and Erin looked at it and went, "Is that Laura Dupuis?" I was like, "What?" And she goes, "The colorist." I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Well, the colors on the cover, the way it's done, and it just reminds me of the colorist on your Authority comic." I'm like, "What?" Because she'd never really read comics. She just started reading some, and I'm like, "Really?
Dumbfounded.
You don't remember that? You don't?" I'm like, "Who does that? Who figures? Oh, I don't know who writes the books, and I don't know who draws the pencils or inks. But the first name I remembered is a colorist. Who does that?" Granted, Laura's colors are beautiful, so it makes sense. But still, who does that? Anywho, my digressions aside-ified, this is great. This is one of my favorite books. Singularity is one of my favorite new characters, and this handled so well the fact that Singularity was introduced in Doom World. Now, Doom's world is gone. None of the others remember it. So she shows up and she remembers that world. So she shows up and is like, and she keeps friend and nobody, right? But that worked great because, one, it was a great way of tying all of these characters in without having to come up with, they would effectively. This is the writing equivalent. Bear with me. This is going to be a rough analogy to start. This is the writing equivalent of people of using hair products to meticulously and deliberately make your hair look like you did nothing to it and just rolled out of bed to give yourself that bedhead look. Because they used this on purpose. They thought this through. They came up with how they were going to do this, but it just seems so natural that you don't see any hints of the strings or the puppeteers behind it. You just see, okay, she shows up and remembers them, and there's somebody chasing her, so she goes to her friends. Her friends don't recognize, but she kind of brings them together. Perfect. Also, it does A-Force in this way. It helps it really be its own thing and be A-Force and not. Remember when there's that one X-Men book? It was. Did they call it X-Men Women, or what was it just called? X-Men, whatever.
The one with Storm leading them.
Yeah, but it was just all the.
It was just X-Men.
It was just all the girls. But whenever anyone thought of it, it was that X-Men book that was all the girls.
Mm-hmm.
This one may be that Avengers book that's all the girls, but they didn't come up with some convoluted reason for why they're getting all the girls together. It's just Singularity was at the center of it. She reached out to the people she remembers. She remembers these people. Perfect. It
just works.
It just worked naturally. Tatted up Groot in Rocket Raccoon and Groot. Turns out well,
are they tats or more like carvings?
Well, they're carvings, but they're more involved than that. At this point, they're like wood burning etchings. Rocket has been missing. He has no memory of who he is, but before he disappeared, he knew he was going to be in trouble. He left the map the only way he could think of for his friend. He carved it into Groot.
Of course.
But Groot, he regenerates. He's a tree. He grows quickly. He does all the work. So Groot has to keep going in and getting it re-burned in because he doesn't want to lose the only way to get to his friend. Of course, he gets to his friend, who still has no memory of him, doesn't believe his story, and things are not looking great. But it's been good and interesting in so much as much of the Rocket and Groot stuff has been kind of... This has more of a weight to it than the usual. I mean, it's still funny, and it's, you've got a tree that only says, I am Groot, and, a raccoon mercenary who now thinks he's a raccoon monarch. So,
of course,
there's just the humor is inherent in there, but it's got a darker edge, and that kind of offsets it nice. It's like a little salty with your sweet. Klaus 3 continues to be the most badass version of
Santa Claus is
coming to town that you've ever seen. I don't know. It's Boom puts it out, but really, the way of describing it is the '90s image adaptation of Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
So metal.
Yeah, it's great. Or like Santa Claus is Coming to Town as done in Heavy Metal magazine.
Yep.
Invincible Iron Man. That's not Iron Man. That's the Invincible.
That's War Machine.
War Machine. Who's a little bit invincible in this issue. Invincible Iron Man. This is going to be my whole review. I don't want to give away too much. This issue's got Mike Diodato on art. He's going to, I believe, be transferring over. He's going to be the artist on International Iron Man. I'm not always a big fan of Diodato, simply because he's heavy on the solid black inks, and often I feel it just this. I like my clean cut lines. I'm a Chris Sprouse, Kevin Maguire kind of. So the shadow gets to be a bit much, but it works on this. It's really done well with giving that kind of spy noir mood almost to certain parts of it. There's a great bit with Dr. Doom, Tony, and Tony's girlfriend having breakfast at a diner. I think he makes Doom look a little older. He looked a little pretty boyer in... That's me just making my own pretty boyer. He looked a little more pretty boy in previous issues, but nonetheless, my full-on review of this is that this issue continues. This is what, number...
Should be what,
6?
3 or 4? Ooh.
Number 6, and it continues to be... I think it is my favorite my surprise favorite of the new Marvel launch. Although I forgot about this. This is only up to number 2, and that's why this one I think is going to steal the throne. Captain Marvel, written by Michelle Fazekas and Tara Butters, art by Chris Anka, and colors by Matthew Wilson. This is number 2. Carol and some of her team, the space-based Alpha Flight, and it touches on some plot themes left over. They've done their homework. They read the Alpha Flight books. They know some of the things going on with those guys. But this is them in any one of, and they discuss it too. They're aware that, you know, Carol's like, I used to love these movies, now I hate them because I'm in one. They're in one of those typical alien monster movies where you board an abandoned ship. It's got no power, lights are out.
People start getting picked off.
Things are gooey. Stuff happens. But this book is great. I really was, you know, like I said with my review for number 1.
They still drawing Puck weird?
I don't know what you mean.
I remember you commenting that Puck looked weird.
I don't listen to me, so whatever. But no, I'm good with Puck. I'm good with Sasquatch. I'm good with Aurora. But no, this I was ready to not like this series because Kelly Sue DeConnick and Carol Danvers have become kind of synonymous in my head, and because Alpha Flight is always one of my favorite things, and I always want them to come back, and to suddenly say that Alpha Flight is the name of their base, I was because the previews for this and the little original hint storyline did not show me that any of the Alpha Flight members were there and that this is that Alpha Flight. I thought they were just using the name, and I was like, so what about Alpha Flight? No. And then it turned out to not just, it didn't just alleviate my fears by going, okay, they're using the people. No, they're actually, it's really good. It's only 2 issues in, but it's really good. I suggest you read it. Guardians of Infinity is really busy, and so far we are 3 issues in, and it's good, but so far it's been 3 issues of a fight that always seems to end with the groups come together, they fight another group, they win, more people come, they fight, it ends with them at a point going, oh my god, we're going to lose. Wash, rinse, repeat. So good. Backup story was a little hokey, I thought, but all in all good, but not great. Has potential. Deja vu all never happens in the book. She's not even mentioned. This is the all they had left were the Neil Adams covers. So here's the Neil Adams cover that P. Craig Russell inked. Interesting. Soups is depowered. Soup gets repowered. He's repowered by kryptonite. He's got a slightly different variation of his original powers, powered by kryptonite that's also killing him.
So, kind of like Ultraman, but with side effects.
This is me still going, I'm like, I'm hanging on to super good. Look, see? I've always got something with the S on me. This is me hanging on to the side, like Superboy, like Connell or Tom Welling on the side of a rocket. And at this point, I can't decide. Am I waiting for me to am I waiting to land, or am I waiting for it to explode?
What would be less painful, holding on or just letting go?
Nova with an homage cover. It's an homage. Nova number 4. Nova's got some daddy issues of his own as he figures out that his dad isn't his dad. His dad is a alien pretending to be his dad, and while his dad and the alien pretending to be him are not in this issue. What is in this issue is Mole Man getting his ass kicked by Mole Monster, son of Mole Man, who and Nova is feeling, why would anyone want to destroy their dad? I just want to find my dad. And then Nova, of course, is feeling like he's letting his family down because it's weird. It's an interesting turnaround. Normally, you've got they turned it on its ear with the whole teenage superhero situation. Normally, you've got the hero being successful as a hero and coming home and being told, "Well, you've let us down," because they don't know he's the hero, and they're disappointed with him at home. In this, you've got him more or less unsuccessful as the hero, but coming home to parents to a note from his mother that's pretty understanding with the hope you're okay, you're out doing your thing, had to take your sister and drop her over to babysitter, and it's like and he feels worse than the heroes who are successful and then come home and are, you know, dumped on. It's that, you know, it's just an interesting little twist. This was so good. Uncanny Avengers #5. Jerry Duggan, one of the Pachecos, Carlos Pacheco. Inkers Mariano Taibo and Dave Makis. Richard Isanove is the color artist, and VC's Clayton Cowles, letterer and production. The team is trying to, they're on a heist. Captain America is leading a heist. They're going to break into a known vault of Red Skull and try and get some information and get some of his some of his assets and hunt down, you know, Red Skull. But Red Skull has Xavier's parts of Xavier's brain mixed with his brain, because as you know, when you take the brain of a dead telepath and have it surgically attached to your own brain, you get his telepathic abilities, and not necropsy. You don't get brain deterioration.
No brain death.
Yeah, you don't get gangrene in your head. So, it says Gambit makes his move. It's a lie. What if they only think it's Gambit? Bum, bum, bum! That'd be an interesting Gambit on the bad guy's part. Dun, dun, dun!
Why do we let you speak?
Because otherwise the video would go like this. And briefly, when we were also a podcast, that would never have worked. Superman, Lois and Clark. The origin of Superman's new Superman suit. The origin of their first visit to this world's metropolis. Here's my review of this. I love it. Thank you, Dan Jurgens. I'll be your best friend forever. You're the best. Thank you. Lee Weeks, you're like a god unto me.
Back up.
That's my review. This is so good. So good. This is the real Superman coming to save me while I'm still hanging on to the potentially explosive rocket that is the other Superman books. Yeah, that works. That's a good analogy. I'll leave it at that. Okay, I'll read the other.
Distress and leaves you.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, he gets a meta replacement of himself, because this Captain America was the Falcon, but now there's a new Falcon, and he even steals Falcon's Falcon, because Red Wing's sitting on the shoulder of Joaquin, the new Falcon. I love this book. Can I tell you that? I love this book. The idea... I just love this book. It's just so good. Why? Everybody read this book, and everybody go, oh my god, this is great. And if you're pouty that, that's not my Captain America, well, you're going to get him back too, written by the same team. So, yay. This book is so good. So good. I can't even put into words. Granted, Misty Knight continues to dress exactly in the way that makes people write articles about misogyny in comics. But other than that, this book is so good. She buys clothes from an online site called maleescapistfantasy.com. It's probably actually a site. Don't go to it because it sounds terrifying.
It's got stripper friends.
Paper Girls #5 leaves the girl standing beside herself. Literally, because this book includes time travel. Every time it makes you think that there might be aliens, it seems to be more time travel. It's so good. I keep saying that. It's so good. It's so good. So good, no good. So good, no good. That should be my reviews. Take a lot less time.
We need to get your flashcards.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. It's Brian K. Vaughan. It's Cliff Chang. It's got...
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just awesome. why are you doubting me? It continues to leave you shuffling in the fact that I don't know. Sometimes I start to think I don't know if Brian K. Vaughan even sussed out in his own head who's really the good guys and the bad guys in this, because every time you're like, those guys, no, they seem all right. I get what they're. Those are the no, they're helping. Those are the.
My head hurts.
Everybody's a good guy, especially Howard the Duck.
No.
Howard,
don't sing that damn song.
No. Howard the Duck. That's my review. Howard the Duck. Philzy!
Hurts my soul that I know this.
Notice our two completely different sighs. Yours of pain and weariness, and mine of happy nostalgia.
It almost
Howard is cosmic. I mean, he's from space and other dimensions, but also right now he's got the nexus of realities stuck within him. That's a hell of a thing for a duck to have. He does mention how it makes him, everything that's going on makes him long for his what do you call it? For his more innocent, pantless days. That made me happy. He kind of gets a brief coating of the Silver Surfer's silverness while they deal with this girl who purposely stole a little bit of power cosmic because she is a Galactus groupie and really wants to be his new herald. And she just keeps saying, Galactus is just like, you're not my herald.
Just get away.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop, go. No.
When Galactus gets a restraining order, you're annoying. But it's Howard the Duck. I've always loved Howard the Duck. There'll never be anything on the level of the original Howard the Duck. And it's sort of refreshing. A little disappointing on a certain level, but mostly just refreshing that this doesn't even try to be what it knows it could never be. So it's great. And it's its own thing. Midnighter number 9. He takes on the Suicide Squad. And suddenly they're looking for someone by the name of Henry Bendix. Bum, bum, bum. The Weatherman. I love this book. Apparently it doesn't sell very well. But this book is so good, and everybody should read it.
That's a general rule. If you like it, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, it's probably my fault. I'm sorry that I liked it. Plus, there's a variation on one of my favorite lines that got me to like Midnighter in the first place. He's fighting a speedster who wears a vest that makes him almost as fast as the Flash, but takes years off his life while he's doing it. And Midnighter is explaining how he's fast too, but only for 1 second at a time. He can't be fast for like, a minute and run it super. He's just super fast for 1 second at a time. He says, you're faster than me 59 seconds out of the minute. But I've got that 1 second, and I'll make it count. That's all I'll need to cripple you. And cripple is, that's all I'll need to cripple you. And one of my favorite panels back in my younger days, reading it, was just him coming at these guys going, I'm going to enjoy crippling you. And he just beats the shit out of them and cripples them. So he's teamed up with Helena and what's Helena running? Spiral. And they're trying to stop Task Force X, which is apparently teamed up with Henry Bendix. So shit's gonna get real. Uncanny X-Men. I'm liking this. I'm liking the anti-hero X-Men. I'm liking the continuation of no one giving the benefit of the doubt to Sabretooth. I'm liking Magneto not even pretending to be a hero, just admitting he's going to do what he thinks is right. And he's all content with, he's like an even bastardy Machiavellian prince. He's like, oh, the ends are going to justify the shit out of these means. And
that's just fun to say.
they're still trying to save healers because apparently there's this weird little cult led by, they used to be taught by someone really awful is all that Psylocke will give us on that. But they've been convinced, they're like a little cult that believes that made up of Inhumans and mutants who believe that the Terrigen Mist's effects on mutants and on Inhumans alike is a test. It's like a rite of passage, and that it's as far as they're concerned, it's weeding out the weak, and that's why they're trying to kill the healers, because they feel that the mutants should have to go through this on their own, with no chance of no back doors, no free passes.
So it's a new cult,
yep,
with Inhumans and mutants.
Yes.
Lovely.
This was really, really good. I mean, I liked this anyway, but this issue particularly, We Are Robin. This is the start of, look, the Robins are going to fight a gang called the Jokers. Kind of like in Batman Beyond. But the Jokers are led by, there's a young boy who gets released from juvie today. They call him Smiles, or Smiley. He was born with Mobius syndrome, which is a neurological disorder with your facial muscles contorted, unable to form an expression. So his parents got him plastic surgery when he was 12, thinking that, you know, they'd at least get him to look like he's smiling and whatever. And he's left with this kind of contorted, botched surgery smile job. So for obvious reasons, growing up in Gotham with that face, he's obsessed with the Joker. And when mommy and daddy are less than supportive, suffice it to say, his own psychotic urges come through. And at the same time, it was great storytelling by where's the page I can find them? I never remember first names, and I got last names. Come on, if I was a rich boy. Blah, 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 blah. By Lee Bermejo and Jorge Corona on art, and basically this kid, is going to start this Joker band, but at the same time, as like a, not quite running parallel, but also running sort of juxtaposed. It's kind of the reversal. You've got as this one kid is having it out with his parents, Duke Thomas is finding his after they're being affected rather severely by the Joker's Joker toxin. So you've got two quote-unquote normal parents and a kid with a nasty smile, and he's messing with them, versus these two parents messed up in the head from the chemicals with forced smiles stuck on their face, and their kid saying he's going to take care of them. So you've got the yin with your yang, and it's really well done. Deadpool and the Mercs for Money #1. I read it because two reasons. Cullen Bunn wrote it, and Slapstick is in it. I stayed because Cullen Bunn wrote it, Slapstick is in it, and so are the Crazy Gang, last seen in the really weird Alan Davis art issues of Excalibur. It was good. It's kooky. It's quirky. There's enough Cullen Bunn coming through to make me, stick through. Also, I like Stingray, who's on this. His team of mercs includes himself, obviously. So it's Deadpool. It's Stingray. It's Terror from the old Terror Inc. comic. Fool Killer, another character that I've liked in his many incarnations. Slapstick, that I've always loved. Solo, that I remember from Spider-Man, and Massacre, who is considered Spanish for Deadpool. He dresses in like a homemade Deadpool costume, speaks in Spanish. So I understand partially what he's saying. Estábamos tan preocupados, buscan nuestro premio, que no paramos a preguntar qué hacían aquí estos imbéciles. Oye, no le molesta a nadie. La posibilidad de... Wow, that's a lot of E's. Envenenamiento por radiación. I can understand like every third word because the Spanish I took forever ago and there's similarity to para italiano. Por non comprende todos. Non capisco todos. Non capisco todo. See, now I'm speaking Spitalian again. My Spanish and my Italian are like fighting and merging into like one unholy creature, like when Hydra Man and Sandman fought in Spider-Man and they became like this big mud thing.
First one, he's basically telling them to be careful while they're looking for what they're doing. Second one is don't forget to ask them what they're doing here, what these idiots are doing here.
Pregunta to question. That one I know.
There's a couple words in here I don't know. So.
A handful of Spanish words that I remember, and then everything else I just go by the similarity to Italian. But regardless, I feel unclean for having read yet another book with Deadpool in it. I'm reading one Avengers book with Deadpool in it, the Deadpool Spider-Man book, and now this. Damn you, Cullen Bunn. Damn you to hell. But, that's it. I'm out of comical books that I read. So,
Thanks for watching another video from Gonna Geek. If you like geeky stuff, check out our podcast network, our news and articles, and our community forums. You can find it all at GonnaGeek.com, like us at Facebook.com/GonnaGeek, tweet us at GonnaGeek, subscribe to our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/GonnaGeek, and check out our live programming at GonnaGeek.com/live.